On this episode of Delivering Marketing Joy, I talk with Dave Miller about lessons he's learned in successful content marketing. Hey there, and welcome to another edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. I am your host, Kirby Hasseman, and I am super excited today. I've got a great guest, Mr. Dave Miller. He's the VP of Sales and Marketing at Bruce Fox. Dave, thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate it.
Hey, Kirby, it's my pleasure. Good to see you. I'm anxious to be deposed by you here.
I like it. Hopefully it won't be that hardcore.
I'm not shackled to my desk, so we'll be all right.
So you and I recently met at a meeting, and we talked. We had the chance to kind of dig in and chat about that you were doing more blogging and content marketing. Why did you decide to increase that effort? Well,
that's a loaded question because really the question is, why did we start at all? Our effort began, our birthday with social media, social marketing is June 1st. So we're just now almost 6 months into this, and really, developing a lot of knowledge and experience with it on the fly. But really, the way I look at it is kind of a three-tiered reckoning, if you will. The first tier was what I call the internal question, and this is the big one. Are you doing the same thing and expecting different results? Yeah. And I mean, we all have, deep ruts in whatever trail we're going on. I've been here 26 years, so I have habits, good and bad, and probably worse. So, it's kind of a self-actualization, looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, am I putting my shoulder into the right wheel and pushing it in the right direction? And the answer is no. It almost always is.
Right.
When you're fair about it. So that was the first step, is that internal question. The second one, which closely followed, was philosophical. I think marketing, by and large, has been, an effort to just jam features and benefits. Buy us. Yeah. We're great. That's fine if you're a consumer product and you're fighting for shelf space. But, when you're in a B2B business and selling to salespeople, no less, they see through that. They understand that they're being sold to, and they switch off. They just tune out. And it's funny when you think about it. The terminology that we use as marketers has always been kind of militaristic. We launch a campaign, we have targets, we carpet bomb and propaganda. I think the problem with that is, among other things, is that there's, like carpet bombing, there's collateral damage.
Yeah.
And that damage is turning people off.
Yeah.
So, taking a wide swath of who you're trying to sell to, who you're trying to serve in some fashion, and actually chasing them away because they get tired of it. So the alternative to that is to shift from a battle for shelf space to what I call an appeal to share of mind. That's what content marketing is creating an environment where you're conveying knowledge and I guess subject matter expertise in a comfortable way.
Yeah.
And reaching out and letting them come to you the rest of the way. The last part was cultural and recognizing, I'm kind of an old, get off my lawn kind of a guy. So, I don't know how well I can relate to current culture, but to effectively communicate anything, you've got to broadcast to the frequencies that they're tuned into.
Yeah.
And social media is it. Like it or not, it's here. That's how people behave. That's how people get their information. It's a community. And if you're not part of the community, then you got nobody to sell to.
Yeah, no, it's great. I actually say that to clients sometimes, Dave. I say when I first got into sales, I would go to an industrial park and I'd park my car and I'd walk around and I'd say, why? It's because that's where my customers were. And so now
Right.
I think to your point, social media is where your customers are. So you have been doing this, 6 months or whatever. So what are some of the most important or interesting lessons you've learned so far?
Well, I think there was, the big thing that I'm tuned into as much as anything else is really understanding what our goals as a company are, what my goals are personally, and not in the context of building my own business and making more money, but in the context of building my customers' businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So, that leads to what I call empathy, in understanding who your audience is, who your personas are, and that's one of the buzzwords in our little inbound marketing community, our content marketing community, is identifying and really putting a dossier to who those people are or should be, and then aligning your goals to what is what's important to them, what their challenges are.
Right.
Not what you have to give to them,
Totally.
but how you can make their lives easier or more profitable or any number of things.
Yeah.
So that's, those are the lessons that I've taken from it. And to me, that's the fun part is, being able to shift away from, the battle axe and going at it and, trench warfare and really conveying, I guess, an understanding that we can help.
No, I like that a lot, and that's I think that's one of the challenges for marketers to make that shift. Because if you're like me and you're in sales, you want to sell, but I think sometimes it's more about serving when you talk about content marketing. So one question I get all the time, and I'm curious to hear your answer on it, is where do you find your inspiration or ideas for your content?
Well, the truth is it's right under your nose all the time. If you're paying attention to your business, it's right there.
Right.
You don't have to be a great author, writer. There's no sense of fiction to it. It's all right here. Yeah. And where I started was once I identified the personas, and our personas are, we're not for everybody, and no company is. So it's critical to know who you're trying to speak to and who you're trying to share with. But once you do that, what you're talking about is the content has to speak to those individuals, and the way to do that is to again understand what their challenges are. So I asked our people here, that are in the trenches, our CSRs, our relationship managers that are handling inside sales, basically. They're the ones that are on the phone. They've got the line in the water in terms of distributor relationships. And I'm asking them, what are the challenges that you're facing? What are the challenges that your customers and prospects are facing? And taking some of that information around, a good example is in our business, custom awards. One of the big obstacles that we have is the perception that custom awards cost more and they take more time. And we can refute that, we can fight it, but the reality is that can be true in most cases. So how do we convey why it's important to recognize people properly and put it past that that notion of, well, it's too much time. Do you want it right or do you want it right now?
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Asking our own people is critical, and we meet routinely and do that. And I ask loyal customers, people that I trust and have known for years, and ask them, hey, what are you hearing out there? What do you think of our business? What do you think is going on? What's the future? But the one thing that I found was, I think, most telling is following up with prospects that we didn't get the business. Okay, so it's all great when you're talking to people that are in the family, they're at the table, and everybody's in harmony. But what about the people that you weren't able to help or weren't able to serve? Ask them what went wrong. How can we improve our performance? How can we give you information and tools that they aren't coming from us, they're for you. And there's a difference.
That's really good advice.
That's it. It's that easy. I'm telling you. It's just,
Yeah, it's work though, right? That's the thing. I mean, one of the things I always say is there's a big difference. It's a simple process. It's just not easy, right? It's simple. It's simple.
A good way to put it.
Yeah. So cool, man. You've answered my 3 questions. I really appreciate that. I give everybody the chance to ask me one question. Do you have one for me?
Oh, man, I have several, but, I've narrowed it down to, I'm interested in knowing what your thoughts are on, okay, let's get in the time machine and go ahead 10 years. What does content marketing look like in 10 years? This is not next year, 3 years, Kirby. This is 10 years, buddy.
Yeah. That's, you know what? It's funny. That's a tough one. Really good question. So if we're going 10 years down the road, we're going a little bit further down the road. I think what I would say is that my hope is we will have evolved past people who think content marketing is just selling. I think so many people kind of mix up the two, right? I think the best content marketing really does create value. And if over time you create value, you will get the sale. Right, but I think so many times people it's clickbait, it's whatever, but it's really it's sales disguised as content marketing, and as you said, people can see through that. But my hope is that the evolution gets to getting better at content marketing. I think video becomes a huge piece of that. It already is, but I think more so. And then honestly, the thing that kind of is interesting to me is virtual reality. I think that's sort of the next step in content marketing is virtual reality becomes more a part of it, and you'll be able to consume content marketing, but then be much more engaged in the process of where you want to go within that. Does that make sense? So okay.
Absolutely.
You are interested in awards, but within that, and you're learning about it, and you think, okay, I think bronze awards is what my customers would like the best, so I'm actually going to choose to go down that path. For me, I think 10 years down the road, that might be what we'll be looking at.
Well, that'd be cool for us because we're, our product is it's tangible. It's, it's in 3-dimensional space, so it would serve well in that. That'd be cool.
Oh, cool.
So, along with flying cars, we'll have VR, content marketing. I can't wait.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for taking the time, Dave. I really appreciate it. We'll have to do it again, okay?
Absolutely. Kirby, thank you so much. Be well, and have a good one. See you next time.
Well, that wraps up another edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, but wait! Can you do me a favor? Please subscribe to my channel. If you haven't done it already, the way to do it's right over here. And hey, if you want to watch the last episode, check that out over here. Again, before you leave, subscribe!